Hello, everyone. My name is Albert Angelo, and I work as a health educator at CSU's San Bernardino Student Health Center. This program is going to be covering for about 25 minutes basic nutrition. So Nutrition 101, give you some information about just basic overall nutrition. Give you some information as well on how to cook and prepare and shop for healthy, low-cost food items, because obviously you're college students, and for most of us, for most college students, money can be very tight. So this program is going to help you learn to eat healthy, also learn to have meals that are low cost, easy to prepare. And by participating in this program, by viewing it, you can also get some information on incentives to help you purchase food, which I can talk about later. But right now I'm going to share my screen with you, and therefore it's coming up, almost up in a moment. There we go. Oh, let me cut this down. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to start from the beginning. So the title for this program is Eating Healthy on a Student Budget. Before I begin, though, I want to remind you that as CSUSB students, both on the San Bernardino and Palm Desert campuses, you can use the Auberchard Den. And the Auberchard Den has food items for free and has other resources for basic needs. Because the goal of what we want to do for you, what the university wants to do for you, is to help you be successful, help you stay in school, help you, complete your academic work, help you graduate, and help you stay healthy, because we know these can be very challenging times. So please use the Auberchard Den and use any services that are available to you, because you are able to use them, like the health center, the career center, the financial aid, the rec center, all the things that that are there to help you grow and to learn and to stay in school and to thrive and to stay healthy. So let's concentrate on Nutrition 101. I'm going to concentrate on some just real basic information. I'm going to talk about calories, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, just as a Nutrition 101 program. Calories are fuel. That's just plain and simple. They measure how much energy is in food. So for example, water has no calories because it has no energy, even though we need to drink water to survive. It has no energy value. No one can gain weight by drinking water, but people can gain weight, or people can get fuel from eating foods or drinking liquids that have calories. And where would they come from? Well, protein. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. Alcohol, 1 gram of alcohol has 7 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So gram per gram, or gram for gram, fat has the most calories per gram. So carbohydrates is just another name for sugar. And carbohydrates can be simple, like real simple, like they give you a sugar high pretty quickly, like white refined sugar. Or it could be complex, which means your body needs some effort to break it down. And that could be pasta or brown rice. These are carbohydrates that don't immediately give you that sugar rush, but will create glucose for you, as well as simple carbohydrates. People go, how much sugar is in food? How do I measure that? Well, 4 grams of sugar is in a teaspoon. So 1 gram of sugar equals 4 calories. 4 grams of sugar equals a teaspoon. And a can of Coke has 9 teaspoons of sugar. 9 teaspoons of sugar. There was a drink by Starbucks. It was a unicorn drink. And I think that had 22 teaspoons of sugar. 22 teaspoons of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Proteins are made up of these things called amino acids. And they're good for your body, obviously, to build, maintain muscles and so forth. calcium is really good for the bones, but the body tissues and so forth. People ask about, well, proteins, like I've heard about, complete protein and incomplete protein. Well, complete protein is all the amino acids are in that protein source, and those are all the amino acids you need for life. Some proteins don't have all of those amino acids, so you have to combine them in certain ways to get all your amino acids. So let me give an example. A complete protein would be generally an animal product: meat, fish, chicken, eggs, milk. An incomplete protein that does not have all the amino acids might be a plant-based product like tofu, rice, corn, or beans. But if you're vegetarian or vegan, I happen to be vegetarian, you can get a complete protein by combining different protein sources like rice and beans, or tofu, rice and beans, or, so when you combine different protein sources that have like a complementary source of amino acids, you can get a complete protein. So you don't always have to eat meat to get a complete protein. Fats, what are fats? Well, another name for a fat is lipid. That's why you might hear lipitor or liposuction. Lipids are another name for fat, and they give you a lot of energy, obviously. So different types of fat. Well, saturated fat is fat that's solid at room temperature. Monosaturated fat is room temperature. It may be a liquid, but if you put it in a refrigerator, it'll become solid. And polyunsaturated fat is liquid no matter where it's at. And I'm thinking of like safflower oil, like a real light oil that even if you refrigerate it, it would still stay as a liquid. Obviously, a saturated fat would be something very, very thick at room temperature. And I'm thinking butter, something like bacon grease, if it's room temperature, it probably solidifies. So cholesterol, why is that important? Well, cholesterol is a problem. And cholesterol, if there's too much in your body, it can clog your arteries. And it's a waxy substance made in a liver. That's why only animals make cholesterol. So if you don't have an animal product, it's going to be cholesterol free. So here's a healthy and unhealthy artery. A normal artery is pretty clean, blood flows through it pretty well. But over time, if a person has buildup of plaque and cholesterol and so forth, then it can block the artery. And that's a problem, because if you block an artery, the blood may not get to your heart, it may not get to your brain, so you could have a heart attack or you could have a stroke. And so that's quite serious. So you want to watch how much cholesterol is in your diet. But then people go, well, wait a second. I've heard, it might be better to eat chicken than Oreos. So I'll go in that in a second. Obviously, all animal products can contain cholesterol because animals have livers, but cholesterol doesn't have to be in products that are plant-based. So there's the question, should I eat lean chicken or should I be eating Kit Kats or Oreos? What if something doesn't have cholesterol? Does that mean it's healthier for me? Not necessarily. So I'm going to go back and show you. If a fat is very saturated but has no cholesterol, that may be worse for your heart than a product that's very lean, like lean chicken without the skin, that has traces of cholesterol. Because the more saturated fat you have in your system, the more your own liver is going to make cholesterol. So when we go down here, it may be less healthy to eat like a bunch of Oreos and chocolate if your own body is going to try to process that saturated fat, where the lean chicken, because it has some cholesterol, but it's lean, that actually might be healthier for you. So the bottom line is there's two things you want to look at when you look at heart health: how much cholesterol is in something and how much saturated fat. Those are really the two big things in a nutshell, what you want to really look at when you look at heart health and fat. Obviously, water. You should be drinking water. People say you should drink this much, you should drink that much. The key, though, really is you should be drinking water to stay hydrated. but the whole idea, if you drink like 10 glasses, you're healthy, and 8 glasses, you're not. What I would recommend is to pay attention to your urine. If your urine is very, very yellow and has like a smell to it, then maybe you're not hydrated enough and you need to drink more water. So that's just one simple way of, like, what does the urine color, and what kind of quality is that? And you might need to drink more water if you're finding it's too strong. So that's just a simple way of doing it. But another one is 8-ounce glasses of water a day, 8-ounce glasses. But I live in a desert, so I try to drink more. I also talk a lot because I teach, so drink more. Just to be aware, though, you should really drink water. People ask sometimes, like, well, is tap water bad for me? Well, of course it's tested. You get to decide whether or not it's a quality that you want, like if it doesn't taste as good as you want or something. But the key, though, is that it's way, way more expensive to buy bottled water. One of the things that we have at the university is those hydration stations with filtered water. You can also buy a filter, pitcher, like a filter water pitcher, that can be cheaper than buying bottled water. So I'm going to stop here for just a second and give you one of the code words, and it's water. So just giving you one of the code words, and it's water. And why would you need a code word? Well, if you fill out an assessment after this program that's on the web page where this webinar is housed, you will be able to get a $25 Amazon gift card, but you need to put in that post-assessment 2 keywords or 2 code words. One of those code words that I'm giving you now is water. So just be aware of that. It's one of the 2 code words you'll need. If you complete the post-assessment, you'll get an Amazon gift card. So portion sizes, I mean, we're talking they're way, way bigger than they were years ago. And when you just think about some of these portion sizes, 100 ounces of Coke with these big gulps is really like 8 1/3 cans of Coke. And we were talking about how much sugar is in Coke. A muffin years ago was about 1.5 ounces. Now it's 4 ounces. And if you look at like a cinnamon bun, a Cinnabon, those are huge. They're huge. They're a meal. It's not just a treat. It's a meal. Years ago, popcorn was about 5 cups, 270 calories. Now you can get a tub of popcorn. You can even get refills sometimes of popcorn, which is 630 calories. Coffee, 6-ounce coffee before. Now a, quote, cup of coffee is a 20-ounce Starbucks coffee. I remember I was telling a friend, I said, I only drink 1 cup of coffee a day. And he said, Albert, you drink a Venti Starbucks, that's 20 ounces. That's not a cup. That's actually more than 2 cups. Right? So when you think about portion sizes, if you want to know more about portion sizes, you can just go to choosemyplate.gov, and it'll give you a guide on it'll give you a guide on what healthy portion sizes would look like. Many people think it has to be a lot of meat, but grains and vegetables and fruits are a really important part of a diet. People ask, well, what's a serving size? So here's the real quick guide. 3 ounces of meat is about the size of a deck of cards. 1/2 cup of pasta or rice is about the size of a light bulb. 1 cup of fruit is about the size of a baseball. 1 cup of vegetables is the size of a baseball. 1 baked potato is about the size of a computer mouse. 1 cup of yogurt is about the size of a baseball. 1 ounce of cheese is about 3 dice. And 1 tablespoon of oil or butter is about the size of a poker chip. So they're not huge. People say, well, oh my God, I have to eat all these servings of vegetables, but really it's about the size of a baseball. That's not a lot. It's actually not a lot of, it's not a lot of food to create a serving of vegetables. So here's just some examples of portion sizes. They're not huge. These are portion sizes that you can get your daily allotment of fruit and vegetables. So that's not a lot of food. So let's read about food labels, or let's talk about food labels. How food labels work is they always give you the same information to give you assessments of how much sugar or fat or calories or vitamins and so forth that you're eating. So with this Lucky Charms, a 3/4 cup, if you just ate that without skim milk, it's 110 calories. 10 calories come from fat. If you look down here, you'll see sugars is 11 grams. And what that means is that there's almost 3 teaspoons of sugar in that, because when they look at sugars, they look at a combination of sugars. So brown sugar, white sugar, honey, all of those things consist of sugars. So they lump them together and they say, if you eat 3/4 cup of Lucky Charms, you're going to be eating about 3 teaspoons of sugar. So, just something to be aware of when you're looking at that. And obviously you can see here where the vitamins are, and then they tell you, what percentage of your daily, like if it's 10% of what you should be getting, if you eat this, it'll give you 10% of that vitamin for your daily intake, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go to the next one. I just find this interesting that these are children's cereals, but all 3 of them look like they're on crystal meth and whack and crack and everything like that, because a lot of children's cereals are just filled with sugar. And, these 3 look like they're zoned out and, doing everything they, like getting a sugar high. So one of the things that is important to know is that sometimes companies, to hide the ingredients, will break up the amount of sugars in a product into different categories. So for example, when you look at a food label, the very first ingredient is always the most abundant ingredient. And that is, here it says granola. And you think, oh, granola, that must be very healthy, right? But when you look, they buried sugar into sugar, fructose, corn syrup, dextrose, and honey. If you combined all those sugars into one product, just say corn syrup, it may outweigh granola. And so that can turn people off. Like, first ingredient is sugar, I'm not buying this. Oh, first ingredient is granola, I'll buy this because it seems healthy. They just kind of split up all the sugars. But the bottom line is you can look on this packaging and see that there's 14 grams of sugar for 1 bar of that granola bar. So I'm going to talk about meal planning and food shopping. One, just some tips. So that was the nutrition 101, but here's some tips. One, when you make, when you go, when you think about your menu or what your week will be like, you can make a plan. So list the items that you think you want to buy at the store. Think about the coupons or the discounts that you may want to add to it. Go to the right store for the right price. Some stores I go to for certain items, and I may go to a different store for different items because these products here maybe are higher quality, so I'll go here. But these products here are very well priced, so I may go here. So I may go to a different store just based on price and availability and so forth. So just make a plan. Making low-cost meals, make a menu. Plan your meal around foods that are on sale or seasonal. So things that maybe are cheaper because they're on sale or they're in season. Plan at least maybe a 1 meatless meal a week. I'm vegetarian, so that cuts down my food bill tremendously. But if you want to cut down your food bill and you do eat meat, you might think of eating a meatless meal or taking meat and adding it into a meal. So for example, like tuna noodle casserole or a dish where you have noodles and ground beef so that you don't need as much meat for the meal. Check your pantry, refrigerator, and freezer before you see what you need to buy. Try to use more grains more often because generally they're cheaper. Avoid recipes that need special ingredients like certain spices that are very expensive or certain, out of season or rare food ingredients. Look for seasonal recipes. And what I do is I often make meals so that I know I have leftovers. So one, I don't have to keep cooking. And 2, sometimes making a bigger meal can actually be cheaper, and then I can have leftovers. So shopping tips, stick to your list. I went shopping yesterday and I'm like, ooh, cookies. Oh, and I'm like, not on my list, not on my list. Don't shop hungry. Read signs carefully. Sometimes the stores, they're accurate signs, but they can be misleading. They may say, oh, it's 10% off of this item, but then when you read the fine print, it's only the diet item, or it's only the, the special holiday item or something. So you just want to make sure you read the signs carefully. Read unit prices versus the size of an item. So I'm going to talk about that. So people will go, well, if a can of peaches is like 15 ounces and it's this price and it's 10 ounces and this price, shouldn't I always buy the bigger can? Well, maybe. What you look at, and then the supermarkets do this, is they give you a unit price for every product. So what I look at is if I were going to buy pears or peaches or something, I would look at the unit price and say, this can per unit ounce is 7 cents. This can per unit ounce is 10 cents. So I don't care about the size of the can. Basically per ounce, the 7 cents one is better than the 10 cents per ounce one. And so, bag of sugar versus a box of sugar. Well, you think, oh, the bag must be much better. But really, they're the same price. 16-ounce box of sugar for $2.50 comes to 15 cents an ounce. A 42-ounce bag of sugar at $6.29 comes at 15 cents an ounce. They're both the same price, but you would think, well, maybe I should buy the bag because it'll be cheaper. But if you look at the ounces, that's really the key, is to look at that unit price, because that'll give you an accurate number to compare any similar products. So what's in the name? So when you're shopping, just be careful, because peanut butter is not the same thing as peanut spread. Peanut butter by law has to have so much peanut product in it. It has to have, at least 90% peanuts. But if you want to cut down the calories, what you can do is you can add like less caloric weighted product, like, I don't know, tofu or something. And then you can say, well, this is low-cal peanut spread, because there's not enough peanuts in it. It's by law, you can't call it peanut butter, but you can call it peanut spread. And so just be careful of that. Peanut butter is not the same thing as peanut spread. Same thing with orange juice. Orange juice has to have so much orange in it, oranges in it, where orange drink could be just orange water with sugar. It doesn't have to have any oranges in it. Orange juice is not the same thing as orange drink. Milk shake is not the same thing as a vanilla shake. You have to have so much milk product to make it a milkshake. McDonald's shakes, they call them vanilla shake because there's not enough milk to make it a milkshake. Also, chocolate versus chocolate tea. You have to have so much cocoa in a product to be legally labeled chocolate. But obviously Cocoa Puffs, which is a bunch of sugar and flavoring and stuff, they have to call it chocolate tea because it doesn't have enough cocoa in it. So here's some healthy meal. One last thing. When you're buying bread, always look for whole wheat or whole grain bread, 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain bread. Just because the bread looks brown doesn't mean it's healthier than white bread. Because if it says enriched wheat or has 18 grains of wheat in it or different kinds of wheat, that doesn't matter. You want to make sure it says whole wheat, 100% whole grain. That's the key. Don't, the color is going to probably be brown if it's whole wheat, but don't just go by color. Make sure on the package you see that it's 100% whole wheat or whole grain. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this because you can find so many recipes on the internet about low-cost, healthy, quick meals. But I'm just going to give you some examples. One way you can add vegetables to your diet is you can make an omelet, which eggs are generally not, highly expensive. And you can put fresh spinach in it, and there you have, some vegetables. You can get pasta and put broccoli in it, and there you have fresh vegetables. So there's simple ways that you can just add veggies to your diet to get a healthier meal. Low-cost meals can be oatmeal for breakfast. Oatmeal is super, inexpensive compared to other things. And you can add things. I add chocolate chips, by the way. But you could add chocolate chips, you could add nuts, you could add bananas, you could add fruit, whatever works for you. Pasta dishes can be inexpensive and they can be healthy. You could put vegetables in them. You could use like whole spinach pasta. You could, if you want to flavor, you could put cheese or a sauce or something. There's so many dishes that you can make with pasta that can be healthy and quick to make as well. Trail mix is another one. So if you're in school and you're hungry, it's very easy to go to the candy machine or, maybe buy something that you really don't have the money to buy. You're really trying to watch your budget. So you can maybe just make your own trail mix, peanuts, raisins. You can put some other kinds of nuts in it. You could, I put some M&Ms in it, so there's like a sweet taste to it as well, like a chocolate taste. You can make your own trail mix any way you want. You could put, cranberries in it. You could put raisins, whatever. But I just want to, you can carry that around. You can have like a bag of trail mix. You can have, a little container of trail mix. The second code word that I'm going to give you is ICE, I-C-E. So the two code words, I gave one earlier. The second code word is ICE. If you use those two code words in your post-test assessment, or not a test, but just a post-assessment, it's not going to be a test, but just a post-assessment, there'll be information on how you as a CSUSB student can get a $25 Amazon gift card that you can use for purchasing foods to help you out. So it's a really great deal. So make sure you do that post-assessment. And then again, that can be found on the web page where this webinar is also posted. So I'm going to stop there and just say for more information about healthy cooking or healthy meals or basic nutrition, that kind of thing, you can go to You at CSUSB. This is a health and wellness portal that has a whole range of health topics and can help you track your fitness goals and so forth. And it's called You at CSUSB. If you go to your My Coyote account, you can see where you can log into that You at CSUSB. Also, please feel free to take advantage of the Oberschall Den, both at the Palm Desert campus and at the San Bernardino campus. They have some information as well about food insecurity, help around that or basic needs. You can use this website, csusb.edu, basic needs, food insecurity, Oberschall Den. If you forget that, you can always just Google it. It's pretty easy, Oberschall Den, CSUSB, there you go. And then myplate.gov, and that's another one as well. So with that, I just remember that complete the assessment, make sure you do those two code words, and for CSUSB students, there'll be information on how you will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. So I think that's a wonderful deal, and I really do appreciate you joining me today and spending time learning about basic nutrition, about ways to help you if you're struggling with food and you're looking for some extra support. And everybody, all CSUSB students I'm sure could use an extra $25. So make sure you do the assessment. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great semester. Thanks, everyone.